Hello friends, it is the next voltammetry, that is cyclic voltammetry. The first I have studied the principle hydrodynamic voltammetry, 3 detector system used in hydrodynamic voltammetry as chromatography and flow injection system detector, oxygen sensor detector and amperometric titration. So related with the hydrodynamic voltammetry, these are the points. Now in cyclic voltammetry, second technique of voltammetry is cyclic voltammetry. What are the things we have to study under the cyclic voltammetry? Just today I can explain in this video the general explanation of cyclic voltammetry, then cyclic voltammogram, and what is the use of this cyclic voltammetry. Then in next video I can explain the 2 application of cyclic voltammetry to study the redox reaction as the K3FeCN6 potassium ferricyanide, how you can study the redox reaction by using cyclic voltammetry. And second application of cyclic voltammetry in parathion as an insecticide, but to study how the parathion is a reversible system. So today I can explain generally the main points of cyclic voltammetry. So I have written on the blackboard. If you observe it, with the help of that you can prepare the notes also. So cyclic voltammetry is commonly used to study the mechanism of redox reaction. Means simultaneously oxidation reduction reaction occurs, and that's why we can use potassium ferricyanide. Potassium ferricyanide. So Fe plus 2 get converted into Fe plus 3, or Fe plus 3 get converted into Fe plus 2. So it is a redox couple or redox reaction. So main application of cyclic voltammetry is to study the mechanism of the redox reaction. Generally in cyclic voltammetry, how the potential is applied. So it is a logical extension of linear sweep voltammetry. So in this way, actually it is a logical extension of linear sweep voltammetry technique. Generally here in cyclic voltammetry, the potential is applied in triangular potential waveform. So here it is a potential against time. So I have shown here like this triangular potential is applied or is impressed on the solid electrode, and therefore we can study the forward and the backward reactions, because the redox reaction, so forward and backward reactions are at equilibrium. So if we apply the triangular potential wave when it is impressed on the solid indicator, then we can study forward and the reverse. Forward and reverse reactions can be studied. And component I and P means we have to record the current produced, at the same time applied potential. The comparison of I and potential character of a redox reaction can be also studied. Then on repeating triangular potential excitation signal, so I have to repeat this. Yes, here we apply the positive scan, then again it decrease, negative scan, again positive scan, negative scan, scanning is there. So on repeating the triangular potential excitation signal during cyclic voltammetry, the potential of working electrode changes backward and the forward for a fixed value. On repeating the triangular potential excitation signal during the cyclic voltammetry, the potential of working electrode changes backward and forward for a fixed value, so that here we get the fixed potential value. Now this fixed potential value may be low or sometime it may be high. It depends upon the nature of your redox reaction. Generally here it is a positive scan, here it is a negative scan is there. In positive scan, the peak height, potential height is there. It is called as EPC. And in negative scan, so here it is a EPA is there. Means if it is a positive scan, peak height we have to record. The negative scan means actually when you consider positive scan and negative scan, if reaction is your redox reaction, then it has been observed that the peak height of this particular curve is somewhat identical. Peak height is identical. For cyclic voltammetry, the current is plotted versus positive and negative scan. This is a positive scan. We have to scan the potential either on positive side or on the negative side. So the peak height, so I have to plot a graph of the current generated during positive and negative scan. Then for reversible system, negative scan, if we perform negative scan, reduction occurs. If we perform positive scan, then oxidation occurs. Means here it is a positive scan, so obviously oxidation takes place. Here is a negative scan, the reduction takes place. Then another will be the cathode and anode peak height. So it is a cathode and it is a means anode. Cathode and anode peak height are equal for reversible reaction. Means this height, this IPC or IPA or this EPC or EPA are identical for reversible redox system. The nature and shape of cyclic voltammetry changes if the absorption takes place. The shape gets changed, cyclic voltammogram shape gets changed, nature gets changed. If whatever the redox process is there, if it is absorbed on the solid electrode, the nature and shape of cyclic voltammetry get changed. And therefore, cyclic voltammetry is useful technique for mechanism of reversible reaction. We can study the mechanism of reversible reaction. We can also study the unstable intermediate which is formed in the electrochemical reaction. Then for reversible system between anodic and cathodic peak potential at 25 degrees Celsius can be given by EP is equal to EP anodic minus EP cathodic. So EP is equal to 0.059 divided by N, where N is the number of electrons involved in the redox reaction. So then reversible redox reaction can be detected for the cyclic voltammogram curve by measuring the peak difference, by measuring the potential difference, that is EPC and EPA, and that is equal to E0 is a formal potential. Then potentials can increase, both IPC and IPA value also increases. If it can increases, then IPC and IPA, it is a current at cathode, current at anode also increases. Then IPA or IPC, if you plot a graph of IPA or IPC versus scan rate raised to 1/2, so we get a linear plot. Actually IPA divided by IPC is always equal to 1. It is totally independent on the scan rate. Then IPA and IPC get changed and it is therefore we can use the cyclic voltammetry as a tool to study the electrode reaction taking place on the solid electrode and mechanism of the reaction. If the pace of this particular wave is larger, if it is equal, regular, then it is reversible couple. But when it becomes broader, at that time the reaction is definitely irreversible reaction, and more irreversible reaction then one means it is a quasi-reversible reaction. When more irreversible reaction is there, then one peak becomes more and more rounder, and when it is completely irreversible, then only one peak is observed. So it is actually a general concept that can be used in cyclic voltammetry. So cyclic voltammetry is commonly used to study the redox reaction. To use the redox reaction, it is a logical extension of linear shift voltammetry. In cyclic voltammetry, triangular potential wave is impressed on the solid indicator electrode so that we can study forward and reverse reaction. Then it is a characteristics of I and P. The comparison between I and P is a characteristic of the redox reaction. On repeating the triangular potential excitation signal during cyclic voltammetry, the potential of working indicator electrode changes backward and forward for a fixed value. When the fixed value is low, or it may be high also. For cyclic voltammetry, I is plotted against for cyclic voltammetry, current produced is plotted against positive or negative potential scan. Then for reverse system, if negative scanning is there, reduction takes place, positive scanning is there, oxidation takes place. Then cathodic and anodic peak height are equal for reversible system. Nature and shape of cyclic voltammogram changes if absorption of reaction product take place on the surface of solid electrode, and that's why cyclic voltammetry is a useful technique to study the mechanism of reversible reaction and to study the unstable electrode reaction also. For reversible system, difference between anodic and cathodic peak potential at 25 degrees Celsius can be given as EP is equal to EPA minus EPC is equal to 0.059 divided by N, where N is the number of electrons involved in the redox reaction. For reversible redox reaction, the cyclic voltammetry for reversible redox reaction, generally cyclic voltammetric curve. For curve we can find out actually the former electrode potential of E0 value. Then potential scan, if we increase the potential scan, then IPC and IPA also increases. If we plot a graph of IPA or IPC versus scan rest 1/2, we get a linear plot. Generally it has been observed that IPA divided by IPC is always equal to 1, and that indicates that it is a totally independent on the scan rate. Then IPA and IPC changed depending upon the type of reaction, redox reaction, and that's why it is a tool for electrode reaction and to study the mechanism of the reaction. If the peak becomes border, then reaction becomes to some extent quasi-reversible. When Thiele's peak becomes more and more rounder, then one peak gets cancelled and reaction becomes completely irreversible, the reaction. So it is actually the cyclic voltammetry. So I have written here about 18 points based on that. If general question is there, you can explain in this statement, plot a graph, then excitation potential curve. So it is a particular the point in cyclic voltammetry.